All right, guys. Hello. Welcome to the Figurative Language Crash Course lecture. This is going to be kind of just a review of a lot of different elements of figurative language. You all have probably already heard these terms in middle school. A lot of you are probably very familiar with them. And if you're not, it's fine. I got you. That's why I'm making this video. So it may seem like I'm going a little fast. It's because I only have a 15-minute limit to this video, and good, because I don't want you all to get bored. But if you need to pause throughout the video, please pause so you all can take notes, or you all can go back and forth on a concept, whatever you all need. Feel free to pause, okay? All right, here we go. So, figurative language. Figurative language, the definition of it is when you use a word or phrase that does not have its normal everyday literal meaning. Okay, so we have literal language, things that are taken to be taken literally or for real, and then we have figurative language. We're talking about figurative language right now. So these are phrases or sentences that are not going to be taken literally. Okay, next. So the elements of figurative language, these are a few that we will be talking about a lot throughout the semester. Now, I'm thinking about it, I might have forgotten a few of them, but these are the ones that I focus on mainly in our class. Okay, so we have similes, metaphors, personification, onomatopoeia, oxymorons, hyperboles, allusions, idioms, imagery, and alliteration. So I'm sure some of y'all are sitting there I remember some of these, or some of these may be a little bit new to me, but don't worry. Like I said, I got you. We're going to go over all of them. The first one would be similes. A simile is a comparison between two different things using like or as. So let's look down below at these examples right here, okay? So our soldiers are as brave as lions. So you got your comparisons here. So as brave as lions. So here it's saying that the soldiers, okay, they're being compared to the bravery of the lions, okay? So you get that comparison there. Let's look at number 2. Her cheeks are red like a rose. So her cheeks are being compared to the redness of a rose. Okay, so you can imagine maybe some of us get really embarrassed sometimes and our cheeks just get really, really red. That's a simile that you could use in the future if you want to. Okay, let's jump down to the last one. It says, he is as cunning as a fox. So to be cunning means to be kind of sneaky and smart. So this he character, whoever he is being compared to the cunningness of a fox. Okay, so we have our comparisons there. So, like I said, the similes are using like or as. Now, before I move on, I want you all to think about what is very similar to a simile, or kind of like the same thing as a simile, but without using like or as. You all know this. I'm going to give you 3 seconds before I move on. I hope you thought of it already. Here it comes. A metaphor. So a metaphor is kind of like a simile. It's a comparison between two things, but it does not use like or as. Let's jump down to the examples. So example number 1 says, the assignment was a breeze. So when we think of breeze, we think of the air outside, right? But that's not what this sentence is saying. It's saying that the assignment was not difficult. It was easy. It was a breeze, okay? So the assignment is being compared to a breeze or being easy, okay? Let's go down to number 2. It is going to be clear skies from now on. Okay, so that just means when we think of a clear sky, it's pretty out there, it's a positive thing. That just means that things are going to be easier. All right? Okay, let's jump down to the third one right here. The skies of his future began to darken. So when we think of darken, we think of a negative kind of connotation or a negative thing. So the skies here are going to darken, which means that there's not going to be a very good future for this person, or that there's going to be really hard times to come. Okay, last one. Her voice is music to my ears. So her voice is being compared to music, which means that her voice makes him feel happy. Okay, so those are your metaphors, kind of like a simile, but without using like or as. Onward. Personification. Now, before we move on to the actual definition, I want you all to look at the word personification. What do you all notice about it? Usually what my students notice about it is that person is in it. And that's what I want you all to think of from here on out. So personification is when you have something non-human, like an object, and it's being compared to something that is human. It's given a human characteristic. So let's look at number 1. It says, look at my car. She is a beauty, isn't she? Okay, so the car is being given a gender, if you notice, she. But a car is a car, it's not a human. And it's also being called beautiful here. Okay, so that's personification. The car is being personified. Okay, let's look at number 2. The wind whispered through dry grass. So can wind whisper? It cannot, because the wind is not human. Okay, so if you think about this kind of sentence, we can just see the grass kind of swaying back and forth. Okay, that's what it's trying to make us visualize. Okay, and let's jump down to the last one. The fire swallowed the entire forest. So the fire is the non-human thing, and it cannot swallow because it is a fire, right? So what does this sentence mean? It means that the fire was so terrible that the forest was destroyed. Alrighty, you all take a look at this. If you need a pause, like I said, a pause. I'm just trying to fit this in 15 minutes, guys. So I'm going to move on. Onomatopoeia. I put the pronunciation there so you all know how to say it, okay? Onomatopoeia is defined as a word which imitates the natural sounds of a thing. Okay, so this would be like buzzing, splash, thump, roaring, rustling. When you hear, not hear, but when you read sounds in literature or in any kind of work we do in class, that is onomatopoeia, is your sounds, okay? All right, I'm going to move on because this one's a little bit on the easier side. Oxymoron. So when two opposite ideas are joined together to create an effect. So let's look at our examples down here, okay? Tragic comedy. So comedy is a positive word. It means funny, right? Tragic is a negative word. It means something really bad happened. So that's what they're saying. It's two opposite ideas and they're being compared with one another. Okay, that would be your oxymoron. 2 says seriously funny. So funny is your positive word. Serious is not such a positive word, and they're being put together. Okay, there's your oxymoron. Awfully pretty. Awfully would be your negative word. Pretty would be your positive word. Two things that are opposite being joined together. Foolish wisdom. Fool or foolish is a negative word, and wisdom is a very, very positive word, and they are being put together, thus making them an oxymoron. Original copies, these are two opposite words, and they're being put together. And liquid gas, those would be your oxymorons, guys. Okay, just two opposite things being joined together. All right, hyperbole. It's a figure of speech that is an exaggeration for the sake of emphasis. So I kind of took the most popular phrases I hear from students from the past, and I put them into hyperboles. You all always talk in hyperboles. I think that's awesome, and I'm going to tell you all throughout the semester that's a hyperbole. Here are a few of my favorites. I am literally dying. You aren't literally dying. You all are just tired, right? Or I am starving. You all aren't literally starving. You're just hungry. That's a hyperbole. You're exaggerating. My backpack weighs 1,000,000 pounds. You're just saying my backpack's heavy, right? It doesn't actually weigh 1,000,000 pounds. Or I'm trying to solve 1,000 issues today. You're just saying you have some issues on your plate, but it's not actually 1,000. That would be way too many to solve in one day. All right. So it's just an exaggeration. Allusions. So an allusion is a reference to a person, place, thing, or idea of historical, cultural, literary, or political significance. Okay, so this one's a little more dense to understand, but hopefully as the semester goes on, we can practice these together and we can pinpoint them so you all get really good at figuring them out. Okay, so let's go to the first one. Here you all can see Romeo and Juliet. So some of us read Romeo and Juliet in middle school, some of us didn't. To explain it to you all, Romeo and Juliet is a Shakespearean play. Okay, so this sentence says, don't act like a Romeo in front of her. Okay, so when we hear Romeo, we think Romeo and Juliet. And this right here is your allusion to Romeo and Juliet. Here they're saying, don't act like Romeo. And in the tragedy, Romeo tragically killed himself for Juliet. So they're probably just telling him, don't be dumb with this girl, dude. Like, be smart about it, okay? So that is your allusion right here. Let's go down to this one at the bottom. You all can read over these two if you want, okay? It says, let me wait for that thing to move aside. There we go. Hey, guess who the new Newton of our school is? So Newton is referring to Isaac Newton, and Isaac Newton, if you all don't know, is a famous scientist. So they're just saying, who is this new smart kid at our school? Because Isaac Newton was a genius. He was very smart. Okay, so that's another example of an allusion. That's your historical figure down here, this thing's in the way, but you know what I'm talking about. And up here would be your literary allusion, an allusion to a play. All right, onward. We're almost done, guys. Okay, idioms. A group of words whose meaning is figurative and different from the actual words of the expression. So you all use this idiom all the time. It's shoot your shot. So when you all say shoot your shot or I'm going to shoot my shot, you are usually referencing dating, right? Like, I'm going to shoot my shot with this girl. I'm going to hit her up. I'm going to text her. Or I'm going to shoot my shot with this guy. I'm going to go over there and talk to him. Or maybe, I don't know, you all say I'm going to shoot my shot with this test that I didn't study for last night and see if I pass it, right? So that's a very popular idiom that you all use. Another idiom is the ball is in your court, meaning if you all play basketball, you all know what that means. That means that now the responsibility is in your hands. Like, now it's on you to get that done, or it's on you to make your next move, okay? Another one is break a leg, which means good luck. Fall in love. You know, you're not literally falling in love, but it's just an expression. Or have a blast, which means have fun. These are very common idioms used every day. Imagery. So to use figurative language to represent objects, actions, and ideas in such a way that it appeals to our physical senses, our sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. Now look at the word imagery. The word image is in it, or picture. An image and picture are the same thing. So when you read things in literature that are of imagery, you kind of get a picture in your brain of what's going on. For example, let's go to the first one up here. It says, it was dark and dim in the forest. Now, you can get that picture in your mind of this dark forest and how dim it was, right? And it kind of maybe makes you a little scared. But this one is appealing to your sight. Okay, and for the sake of time, guys, I'm running out of time, so go ahead and maybe pause the video and read over the rest. Next, alliteration. When sounds repeat themselves, okay, so kind of look these over. The first one says, Becky's beagle barked and bayed, becoming bothersome for Billy. What sound is repeated over and over and over again? It's the letter B, right? Okay, same for number 2. Can you keep the cat from clawing the couch? It's creating chaos. So that's C, the k, that's being repeated over and over. That is your alliteration when sounds repeat themselves. Okay, guys, we have made it. I will put these sources down below so you all can access them. This one right here, guys, is just your typical kind of definitions. Okay, so if you maybe need some extra help on these figurative language devices, you all can go ahead and give this a click from down below and it will show you all the definitions and a ton of examples. And then this one down here is a silly example. It's a YouTube video of figurative language in songs, but really basic, funny, silly songs that you all definitely won't like, but maybe will help you a little bit. Okay, guys, so you all have a good one. Get to practicing on your figurative languages, and I will see you in class tomorrow. Bye, guys.